The idea is to just load up a drum break, cut it into micro chops, sequence the micro chops using a MIDI keyboard, and then add your own one-shots on top of that. The benefit of this is that you get a bunch of hi-hats from the same kit that have like the same coloration and characteristic. Since they're run through the same compressors, they were recorded in the same room. And then when you make a loop out of those samples, they all sound like they came from the same kit because they actually did. So we're only going to be using this slicer for hi-hats today. And our hi-hats are like kind of down here. The lower the sensitivity, the more hits there usually are in each chop. So it's kind of random if you're just messing with sensitivity where the chops end up starting and stopping. We're going to be using slicer mono for now. So let me bring up the sensitivity. And what I'm going to be doing is just searching for the hi-hats. There's one hi-hat. This is going to be on E flat, E, sort of a snare roll on A, C sharp, and E flat again. I'm now using audio hijack, so you should be able to hear the metronome. This is going to be double time. It's 192, but the BPM I'm going for is 96. It says transients right here. We're going to make it tighter by moving this forward. I'll throw on some hi-hat processing at this point. Run into this Tsar reverb. I also have some BITCRUSH. See what I mean? There's parallel compression using this precise setting in Ableton's compressor. We also have transperk. This really shortens the strike so that all you really hear is the attack. And then we have studio reverb at the end. It's 100% wet. Bringing this down to like, I don't know, about 4% it says. So with it, without it. I use selector kits to, cycle between the kick and the snares. Should have a loop there. 4 different hi-hats in the same drum kit. I recorded these snares from a TDK SA90 tape from 1985. So they all kind of have like this white noise or this hiss at the top. At the front here, you can see if I want to add some more lag to the snare, I can bring out the start point. Select one shot, we have a lot of that white noise for the tail. The first thing that we did is we cycled through a bunch of breaks and we found one whose character that we enjoyed. I grabbed this one called Gravedigger Full and we loaded it into a slicer. The next thing that we were doing is we were looking for only the hi-hats. We didn't want any snares, we didn't want any kicks. The benefit of this is that you get a bunch of hi-hats from the same kit that have like the same coloration and characteristics. Since they're run through the same compressors, they were recorded in the same room. And then when you make a loop out of those samples, they all sound like they came from the same kit because they actually did. So here was the loop that we came up with. The next thing we did is we added a little hi-hat mix bus processing. So the BitCrusher adds some nice crunch, and then the transient shaper sort of shapes the sound and makes it more compact. And then lastly, we're running this into a studio reverb that's just at about 4% wet. That's way too wet. Then we added a kick and a snare. We can dial between different kick samples and sort of audition them in real time. I chose 13. I thought 13 was nice. And it's pretty much ready to go. At this point, I would think you could add like a melody on top. You could add some vocals. Someone could rap over it. You could scratch over it. I think it's pretty much a demo beat ready to go. The idea is to just load up a drum break, cut it into micro chops, sequence the micro chops using a MIDI keyboard, and then add your own one-shots on top of that.